Today I'm in the beautiful historic village of Orford, going to take a stroll around, have a look at the castle and other historic features and lovely places to visit. So we're here at lovely Orford Castle. Let's have a wander around. Orford Castle was built by Henry II in the 12th century, and he built it to protect himself from foreign invasion and uprising from the barons of East Anglia, particularly Hugh Bigod, and he owned Framlingham Castle. It was designed to be a military stronghold and a grand residence. The castle that we're looking at today is missing its curtain wall, and I'll include a picture of how the castle would have looked when it was built, and I can get that from an English heritage book. Orford's Keep was built in 1165 and 1163, and it's been well cared for, as you can probably see. And if you'd have come here a few years back, you would have seen it was shrouded in scaffolding because it has all been redone. It looks very different. It looks like they've rendered to protect the brickwork, but we'll have a look at some older pictures and I'll include those on the video of what it looked like a few years ago. Castle keep towers were a regular part of 12th century design. However, Orford's was unusual as it's cylindrical inside and polygonal outside. So the inside part is circular, and the turrets that you see on the outside were used as the private rooms. So the two circular halls that are part of the castle have two-storey suites inside them. And the rooms are really only lit by those slit windows. Now, back in the day, they wouldn't have had glass in those windows, of course. They would have just had shutters, and they would have closed them off to block out the light and, of course, the elements. Although I certainly wouldn't have fancied being inside there when the wind was howling, which it probably was. There's also a basement in the castle that would have been used for storage, and the roof and turrets would have given lovely wide views of the landscape. And if you go up onto the roof of the castle, you can actually see right out into Orford Ness, which is lovely. It's a beautiful castle inside, very, very well preserved. There's three types of stone that have been used in this building. The sandy oolitic limestone, I had to write that down. This came in from Northamptonshire. This was used for the quays, where the walls meet at an angle, and for door and window openings they used cairnstone, which is the grey stone that you can see around the outsides. And that came from Normandy, and that was for the finer, more detailed work that's on there. And of course both would have had to come in by sea, so they've had to drag it from way back over there from the Ness. The more clayey limestone, called septaria, this would have been dredged from the coast and the estuaries, and it would have been used on the main panels of the wall, and it would have been used inside, mainly because the stone is soft and it would have weathered really badly. And you can imagine being really close to the sea with the sea winds. And you can see how beach huts, etc., all get weathered, and houses where people live by the sea, it can get quite weathered. And I guess, unlike most of us, you tend to think, oh, you know, people came to an area, they set up a fortification, they took the local stone and built themselves a castle, a fortress. Not necessarily the case. It was a lot more complex than we actually give them credit for. Over here, which is at the rear of the castle, we can see a set of outfalls, and they're actually pretty well preserved as well. And the outfalls, that's where the latrines emptied. So from the castle, I'm assuming all the latrines would have been on this side of the castle, and they would have emptied out here. This would have also been part of the garrison, where men would have stabled their horses, and this would have been a restricted area because this would have been for the troops. So as you look out from here, you can see the land is still quite dug out. So this would have been this would have been the curtain wall around here. And most of that has gone. I think they said the last bit fell down in the 1800s and was never restored again, as you can see. So this is the main entrance into the castle, and this has been rebuilt with more modern materials, and it would have had a porchway where the porch sits, but that hasn't been restored. So we need to give them a little bit more credit, really. We tend to think, oh, you know, medieval people slapped up a castle. You know, they didn't have what we've got today, of course, but you know, they were designed for the times. You know, things like clockwise staircases, so that right-handed swordsmen could battle either coming up or down if someone should actually get through into the castle. It is a small castle, but it is very intricate and it's very, very well designed. It was designed to be as luxurious as possible. Yeah, the render seems to have been done in some sort of sandy colour. It was more brick exposed on previous occasions. Right, we'll carry on and we'll have a look through the town. Orford's really, really lucky because it is sitting in a landscape of an area of outstanding natural beauty. We shouldn't take that lightly, really. And if you go up to the top, you can see out over the mud flats and the salt marshes, which is known by the RSPB for bird breeding. And the former quarry that sits to the west of the castle is both of historical and ecological value for its coralline cragstone, and that's also used in some of the places in the castle. So let's give it one more view and then we'll take off into the village. I'm going to have a wander through the village, hopefully have a look at the Pump Street Bakery, the Crown and Castle pub, St Bartholomew's Church, Kinney's Fresh Fish and the Butley Oysterage, and have a look down at Orford Quay and see if the Lady Florence is in dock. So we'll just take a wander. So this is the Crown and Castle pub. This has its origins possibly dating to the 16th century. Though it is first recorded from 1810. And while the main building was significantly rebuilt in 1896, its history includes being a commercial inn, a posting house, and it even had a motor garage in 1912. It's located very close to Orford Castle. I'll pan round and you can see where we've come from. It had a very good reputation. You can see the plaque up there that says 1819. So you can see it still has 21 bedrooms. So this looks like it's Market Hill. It's a lovely area, few parking spaces. I've never been here and been able to get a parking space, so people must park here overnight and their vehicles stay here. There's a few little businesses around here. Over there, the Pump House Bakery. I'll tell you a little bit about that once we've had a little explore. And this is the Pump Street Chocolate Store and the Butley Orford Oysterage. So the Pump Street Bakery began in November 2010, founded by a father and daughter team, Chris and Joanna Brennan. And it started as Chris's home baking hobby, selling bread at the local market, and grew into an award-winning bakery. It's quite a good story. So they grew the bakery and opened the artisanal bakery here in the small village, and then opened a cafe, and then eventually took over this location, which was the old post office, and started the chocolate makers, which was quite unique. Here we have Butley Orford Oysterage and the chapel tea rooms. Looks like Dutch gable roof. Butley Oysterage is also a family-run business, and that was founded by Richard Pinney after World War II. And he revived the historic local oyster beds, which had been abandoned in 1925. And the Pinney's family business is now run by its third generation, which is fantastic. They have a restaurant and a smokehouse, Pinney's of Orford. And they have Pinney's Fresh Fish, which began in 1959 by the same people. It's lovely to see local businesses thriving in these villages. Definitely worth a visit. So I've just left Pump Street Bakery and grabbed myself a coffee. So I'm going to head into the churchyard and sit and enjoy it in the quiet. I grabbed myself what looks like the biggest pan of raisin ever and the smallest coffee. So let's hope the coffee doesn't run out before the pan of raisin, because it could be tricky. I am having a short break with my coffee from Pump Street Bakery in the churchyard of St Bartholomew's, which I'll go round shortly once I've finished this, and then head down to the quay. Just met a lovely couple who've told me the quay is well worth a visit. I have been there before, so I do know that. So I'm looking forward to sharing it. So I'll finish my lovely coffee and then I'll carry on. This is St Bartholomew's Church in Orford. This was built in the late 12th century and has a complex history of construction, alteration and restoration. Originally it was a large Norman cruciform church, and it was enlarged in the 14th century, leading to the demolition of its central tower. I'm sure inside they probably have a picture. Got a beautiful churchyard. The 19th century saw the collapse of its 14th century tower, which was eventually restored in the 1970s. So I wonder if this tower looks a lot older than 1970s, that's for sure. Let's have a wander around the back. The church is known for its musical heritage, having hosted the premiere of Benjamin Britten's opera in 1958. Definitely a mix and match of building materials in this church. It's got quite an expansive cemetery too, but it's very well kept, which is really nice to see. In the Norman period, the original church was built as a large cruciform building with a central tower, likely in response to the growth of Orford, the castle being nearby. As you can see, some of this is ruined. 14th century, the community grew the original church, leading to the demolition of the transepts and central tower, and the nave was enlarged and a new western tower was built in 1320 to 1330. I'm so pleased I bought my notes. 18th century, the Norman chapel was walled off and abandoned. I love this ruin. And so it was left to decay, and this is its ruins now, still here. The 19th century, the 14th century Western Tower collapsed in 1830, And the organ that served the church was also destroyed in this event. Woo! Uneven. This is quite a large cemetery. We'll go right round. The 20th century, the tower was restored. And that's when Benjamin Britten veneered his opera. We'll have a wander through and go inside the church and have a look. It's quite a handsome building. It's lovely to see this Norman remains. I would assume everyone in here was originally an Orford resident. Look at those beautiful Norman remains. I'm so pleased they've left them. Before we leave the church and all its molehills, we'll have a look inside. Welcome to St Bartholomew's. The church has been serving the people of Orford for over 800 years. Please come in to look around and enjoy the feeling of space and tranquility. It costs £1,100 a week to keep the church running, so donations are welcome. We'll make sure we leave something. It's a beautiful font. How lovely. About tours there so that you can show yourself around. It's very detailed, like lots of East Anglian fonts. Lovely organ. These will be the main doors. This is fabulous. Carvings similar to that of Henry Ringham. Be interested to know if they are Ringham carvings. Two altars. This is the St Nicholas Chapel. I'm not going in because it says it's set aside for peaceful prayer and contemplation. Beautiful building. Look at the doorway. Just fabulous. Here the church has its own book collection. I love having a look at different book collections in different villages to see what people in different areas read and what interests them. It's different in every area. Lots to choose from. Okay, we're going to leave the church now and walk down to the quay. According to the lovely couple I met, it's about 5 minutes. These are the things I love. These are just so quintessentially English. Look at this beautiful cottage and that lovely wall. It's all weathered, it's covered in plants, it's covered in moss. It's just so lovely. It seems like we have a street cleaner out here, so you have to excuse the noise. Okay, this is the road down to the quay. Lined with these beautiful cottages. Absolutely delightful. What a lovely walk. Oh, that's nice too. Over there, look at that house. Very nice. Probably somebody very well to do back in the day to have all that space. And these were probably the workers' cottages. Follow the signs. Orford Quay. Straight on. So we'll have a nice long walk down. Beautiful houses. And burn off probably a quarter of that gigantic panorama. It's a lovely village. Interesting walking through these lovely villages. It's like it's frozen in time. So much to take in and enjoy. I do think they're a little bit more neighbourly than the modern places. Everyone seems to be a little bit more involved in people's lives, which is how it used to be here. And I'm talking the UK, not just Orford Village. Everyone was a little bit more involved. Quay Meadow. I know my neighbours, but I don't know my neighbours. They're not part of my life and I'm not part of theirs, which is a shame because it would be nice to be a little closer. Coming up to the Jolly Sailor, another lovely Adnams pub. Beautiful. Just keep going. Just wait till the cars go. And we'll trundle on down to the quay. It's a lovely walk. As we come down here, you'll likely recognise the building if you're a fan of the Detectorists. This is Pinny's, where they sell the fresh fish. Pinny's of Orford. Been here since the 1920s. Yeah, you'll possibly notice some of the buildings as they played out on the TV series. So here we are at Orford Quay, missing the beautiful red and white lighthouse, which was demolished. Let's have a look out. How lovely and peaceful is this? It's a nice view to wake up in the morning. Beach is muddy as per the mud flats. It would appear that Lady Florence is out on a voyage, so we won't be seeing her today. This is what she looks like. Handsome ship. You can go out on a lovely cruise, have dinner, have lunch, whichever one you choose. Just beautiful. Such a shame they took the lighthouse down. It was at fear of going into the sea, but personally I would have moved it back. It's lovely and peaceful, isn't it? I don't know if you can read that, but it says, from this quay for over 70 years, men and women crossed the river or to serve their country. That's quite a big rock. And an anchor that has seen better days. Very peaceful. I'll take a nice slow walk back. Don't forget to visit to get your fresh fish. Definitely recommend a day trip to Orford. Lots to do and see. Plenty of watering holes and cafes and really lovely restaurants. You're getting the view on the way back now. So you get to see all these beautiful cottages. I do absolutely love them. Maybe one day when I'm 90, if I reach that ripe old age, I might fancy downsizing into one, but right now I don't think it would have enough space for me. Up again past the Jolly Sailor. The walk back We pass these on the way down. You get a different perspective and you see it the other way around. You can always pick up something different, which is nice. That's interesting. I didn't notice that on the way down, which is a good reason for filming on the way back. Priory Cottage. I hadn't seen anything about a priory here. Possibly there was. When I pop back into the church again on the way back, I'll see if there's anything that mentions the priory being local to the church. Going to make my way back now towards the castle. Pump Street Bakery, a little less busy now. Lunchtime's passed, although still people in there. Don't forget to visit. Going to retrace my steps now back up towards the castle. Oh, someone's got a fire going. Just love that smell of the logs burning. I just noticed a blue plaque here. Arnold Wilkin and Robert Watson Watt stayed here while developing RDF radar on Orford Ness. Oh. A little bit of history. And here we are again, back at the castle to complete our walk. Well, if you've enjoyed this time today, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And then that way you can also subscribe. You'll get to see more walks like this as we're going out and around English villages. Who knows where we'll head next? Well, I have to say, all in all, this has been a really enjoyable walk today. Certainly take the time to come out to Orford if you're on your travels. It won't disappoint. Lots to see. Beautiful pubs and restaurants, and of course all the history. Hopefully we'll see you in Orford sometime soon.